Jealousy rarely announces itself honestly. Most people will not look you directly in the eyes and say, "I envy what you have." Instead, jealousy often appears through questions that sound harmless. A person may ask how you achieved something, who helped you, how much you earned, why people respect you, or whether you believe you are better than everyone else. One question means very little by itself, but repeated patterns can reveal something deeper. The important skill is not becoming suspicious of everyone. It is learning to observe behavior without immediately reacting to it. When someone sees you making progress, one of the first questions they may ask is, "How did you get that?" On the surface, this sounds completely innocent. People naturally become curious when they see someone achieve something they want for themselves. The question becomes meaningful not because of the words alone, but because of the intention and behavior surrounding it. Genuine curiosity usually comes with admiration, interest, or a desire to learn. A person who sincerely wants to understand your progress may ask what you did, what you learned, what difficulties you faced, and what advice you would give. Their focus is on learning from the process. Jealous curiosity is different. It often searches for a reason to reduce the value of what you accomplished. Instead of asking how they can improve themselves, the person wants to discover whether your achievement was really deserved. They may examine your circumstances, your connections, your opportunities, or the people who supported you. If they find an external advantage, they may use it to explain away your success. You only got that because someone helped you. You were lucky. You had an advantage. These statements may contain some truth because success is rarely created in complete isolation, but the intention behind them can still matter. Support does not erase effort. Opportunity does not erase preparation. Luck does not eliminate the discipline required to recognize and use an opportunity. A jealous person may struggle to accept this because acknowledging your effort forces them to confront their own lack of progress. It is psychologically easier to reduce your achievement than to ask themselves what they could change in their own life. This is where comparison becomes dangerous. Instead of treating another person's success as information, they treat it as evidence of their own inadequacy. Your progress becomes a mirror they do not want to look into. The mistake you should avoid is immediately assuming that everyone who asks this question is jealous. That would make you suspicious and isolated. Some people genuinely want to know how you achieved something. The difference becomes clearer through repetition and tone. Do they listen when you explain your process? Do they congratulate you? Do they become inspired? Or do they immediately search for reasons your accomplishment does not count? Observation is more useful than accusation. You do not need to label someone an enemy simply because they ask an uncomfortable question. Instead, notice patterns. If every achievement you share is minimized, every opportunity is attributed to luck, and every success is explained away, then the pattern deserves attention. You may also notice that such people rarely ask what they can learn from you. Their questions are designed to investigate your advantage end rather than understand your process. In that situation, you do not need to defend yourself endlessly. You do not need to list every sacrifice you made or provide evidence proving that you deserve what you achieved. The more you argue for your worth, the more you allow another person's opinion to control your emotional state. A calm answer is often enough. Explain what you are comfortable sharing, then move on. Your results do not require universal approval. More importantly, never allow another person's inability to celebrate you to make you ashamed of your progress. Continue improving without turning your success into a weapon. Stay humble enough to recognize the help you received, but confident enough to acknowledge the work you contributed. There is strength in saying, "Yes, people helped me, but I also worked hard to make the opportunity meaningful." You do not need to exaggerate your achievements, and you do not need to minimize them either. Let reality stand exactly as it is. The mature response to jealousy is not arrogance. It is emotional distance. You recognize when someone is trying to reduce your achievement, but you refuse to become consumed by proving them wrong. You continue learning, building, and improving. Eventually, your consistency becomes more convincing than any explanation you could give. A person may question how you got where you are, but they cannot permanently argue with the evidence of what you continue to build. When someone asks, "Who helped you?" the question can have many meanings. Sometimes it is genuine curiosity. People understand that achievement rarely happens in complete isolation, and they may want to learn which mentors, friends, teachers, or opportunities contributed to your progress. But in certain situations, the question can carry another intention. Instead of wanting to understand your journey, the person may be searching for an explanation that reduces your achievement. If they can identify someone who supported you, they may use that support as proof that your success was not entirely your own. They may say, "Of course you succeeded, you had help," as though receiving guidance somehow cancels the effort required to use it. This mindset reveals something important about comparison. A jealous person often wants to believe that your position is the result of advantages they do not possess, because this explanation protects them from confronting their own choices. If your success came only from luck, connections, money, or someone else's assistance, then they do not have to ask whether discipline, patience, courage, or persistence played a role. They can dismiss the result without examining themselves. But almost every meaningful achievement contains multiple factors. People receive opportunities from others, they learn from teachers, they benefit from supportive relationships, they may receive advice, introductions, resources, or encouragement. None of this means their effort is meaningless. The mature response is to recognize both support and responsibility. You can openly acknowledge the people who helped you without allowing anyone to rewrite your entire story around their contribution. Gratitude and self-respect can exist together. There's also a lesson in how you respond to this question. You do not need to become defensive. If someone asks who helped you, you can answer honestly when you feel comfortable doing so. You might say that you had good mentors, supportive people, useful opportunities, and plenty of mistakes that taught you valuable lessons. Then you can move on. You are not required to provide an exhaustive account of every advantage, sacrifice, setback, and decision simply to convince someone that your achievement is legitimate. Your life is not a courtroom where every accomplishment must be defended. Pay attention to what happens after you answer. A supportive person may become interested in learning from the people or methods that helped you. They may ask what resources you recommend or what lessons you learned. A jealous person may use the information differently. They may immediately minimize your role, criticize the people who helped you, or suggest that without those connections you would have achieved nothing. If this pattern repeats, you have learned something about the relationship. The wisest response is usually not confrontation, but discretion. You do not have to share every detail of your opportunities, finances, relationships, plans, or resources with everyone who asks. Privacy can protect your peace. The more personal information someone has, the more material they have available to interpret, criticize, or misuse. This does not mean living in fear. It means recognizing that openness should be earned through trust. You can be grateful for the people who helped you while still understanding that your responsibility was to act on the help. Someone may open a door, but you still have to walk through it. Someone may teach you a skill, but you still have to practice it. Someone may offer an opportunity, but you still have to perform once the opportunity arrives. Support creates possibility. Your action determines what you do with that possibility. When people try to reduce your progress to a single advantage, remember that complex outcomes rarely have one simple explanation. Do not let their narrative become your own. Give credit where credit belongs, accept responsibility for your work, and continue improving. You do not need to erase the help you received to honor your own effort. The strongest position is neither arrogance nor false humility. It is accuracy. Recognize your support system, recognize your sacrifices, recognize your mistakes, and recognize the discipline that carried you forward. Then allow your continued actions to speak louder than anyone's attempt to reduce your journey to a single person, opportunity, or advantage. When someone asks, "How much do you make?" the question may seem ordinary, but the meaning behind it depends heavily on the relationship, timing, and pattern of behavior. There are situations where discussing money is completely reasonable. A close friend may be curious about your career, a business partner may need financial information, or someone may genuinely want advice about building their own income. But when a person repeatedly focuses on your earnings, possessions, expenses, or lifestyle, the question can become less about curiosity and more about comparison. Money is one of the easiest ways for people to measure status because it provides numbers that appear objective. Instead of asking whether you are fulfilled, disciplined, skilled, or growing, someone can simply ask how much you earn and immediately create a ranking in their mind. This can become especially uncomfortable when their questions appear after you accomplish something. You buy something new, receive a promotion, start a business, or improve your lifestyle, and suddenly they want to know exactly what you make. The question may contain an unspoken calculation. Are you ahead of me? A person consumed by comparison does not always care about the meaning behind your achievement. They care about where they stand next to you. This is why financial privacy can be valuable. You do not owe everyone detailed information about your income simply because they are curious. You can acknowledge your progress without revealing numbers. You can say that things are going well, that your work is improving, or that you are grateful for your progress. You can also choose to discuss finances openly with people you trust when there is a genuine reason. The key is that disclosure should be a choice rather than a response to pressure. If someone becomes irritated because you do not provide personal financial details, that reaction can tell you something. Respectful people understand that some information is private. They may accept your boundary without making it personal. Someone who feels entitled to your financial information may respond with jokes, criticism, accusations, or attempts to make you feel guilty. You do not need to defend your decision. Your financial life belongs to you. Another sign of unhealthy comparison is when the conversation immediately shifts from your achievement to whether you actually deserve it. Someone might ask how much you earn and then say that your work is not that difficult, that your industry is easy, or that you simply had the right connections. Again, one comment does not prove jealousy. But repeated attempts to minimize your progress can reveal resentment. A healthy person can recognize another person's success without feeling personally diminished by it. They may think, that is impressive. What can I learn from it? A jealous person may think, if I can prove that this success is not important, I will feel better about myself. The difference is internal. One response turns someone else's progress into inspiration, the other turns it into a threat. You should also avoid making the opposite mistake of using money to establish superiority. If you become obsessed with proving that you earn more, own more, or live better than others, you are still trapped inside the same comparison system. True confidence does not require constant ranking. Money can provide comfort, opportunity, and freedom, but it does not automatically determine character, intelligence, or worth. Someone may earn less than you and still possess qualities you need to develop. Someone may earn more and still struggle with problems you cannot see. Therefore, protect yourself from both sides of the comparison game. Do not allow another person's financial jealousy to make you defensive, and do not allow your own financial progress to make you arrogant. Keep your financial information appropriate to the relationship. Share with people who have a legitimate reason to know or whom you genuinely trust. With everyone else, let your lifestyle speak quietly without turning it into a performance. If someone repeatedly tries to measure their worth against your income, you do not have to participate. You can redirect the conversation, keep your answer private, or simply move on. Your financial progress should serve your goals, not become a scoreboard for other people's approval. The less you need to prove your financial position, the less power comparison has over you. Build wealth responsibly, use your resources wisely, remain grateful for opportunities, and allow your achievements to improve your life rather than become ammunition in a competition you never agreed to enter. When people begin noticing that others respect, admire, or support you, one of the questions that can reveal insecurity is, why are people paying attention to you? Again, the question itself does not prove jealousy. Someone may genuinely be curious about your work, personality, or relationships, but when the question repeatedly appears whenever you receive recognition, especially when it is accompanied by criticism or disbelief, it can reveal a deeper pattern. Instead of asking what you are doing well and how they might learn from it, the person becomes focused on explaining why you are receiving attention at all. This is an important distinction because healthy competition encourages growth, while unhealthy comparison attempts to reduce another person's success. Recognition can be uncomfortable for people who secretly compare themselves to you. When others praise your work, invite you into opportunities, listen to your ideas, or show appreciation for your presence, a jealous person may feel that your rising visibility reduces their own importance, your success becomes a threat to their identity. Instead of experiencing your progress as something separate from themselves, they interpret it as evidence that they are falling behind. This can lead to subtle comments such as, I don't understand why everyone likes him. What is so special about her? Or people only support you because they don't know the real you. These statements may sound like criticism, but they often reveal more about the speaker's internal comparison than about the person being criticized. A mature person can see someone receiving attention without needing to destroy the person's reputation. They may feel envy occasionally because envy is a human emotion, but they can use that feeling as information. They can ask themselves what they admire, what they want to improve, and what actions might move them toward their own goals. Jealousy becomes destructive when a person refuses to examine themselves and instead focuses on reducing someone else. This is why you should be careful about explaining yourself to people who are committed to misunderstanding you. If someone has already decided that your recognition is undeserved, giving them more information may not change their opinion. They may simply find another reason to dismiss you. You can remain humble without becoming apologetic for your success. If people appreciate your work, accept the appreciation. If opportunities come because you have developed useful skills, accept the opportunity. You do not need to pretend that you are less capable simply to make insecure people comfortable. At the same time, humility protects you from turning recognition into arrogance. Remember that attention can disappear, popularity changes, circumstances change. The goal should not be to become addicted to being noticed. Build qualities that remain valuable even when the spotlight moves somewhere else. Another useful response is to avoid constantly broadcasting your achievements. You do not need to announce every compliment, opportunity, purchase, or success. Excessive self-promotion can create unnecessary comparison and attract attention that does not serve you. Quiet confidence is often more sustainable. Let people discover your abilities through your work. If recognition comes, receive it with gratitude and continue. If it does not come, continue anyway. Your commitment should not depend on applause. You should also remember that other people's attention is not the only measure of value. Some of the most important work you will do may receive no public recognition at all. Learning a difficult skill, improving your character, becoming more disciplined, helping your family, or building something slowly may never receive immediate praise. These achievements still matter. When you understand this, jealous questions become less powerful because you are not dependent on public approval. If someone asks why people are paying attention to you, you do not need to defend your worth. You can simply recognize that people respond to different qualities and everyone has the opportunity to develop their own strengths. Let your work speak. Let your relationships reveal your character. Let your consistency create trust. And if someone cannot celebrate your progress, do not allow their discomfort to make you hide your growth. You can remain humble, respectful, and grounded while continuing to accept the recognition your effort earns. Their inability to appreciate your progress does not require you to diminish it. The healthiest response is to keep building without becoming obsessed with who is watching. When someone asks, "Do you really think you're better than us?" The question can carry more than simple curiosity. It may appear after you begin changing your habits, setting stronger boundaries, pursuing ambitious goals, or becoming less interested in the behaviors that once connected you to a particular group. Growth can sometimes make people uncomfortable because it changes the balance of a relationship. If people were accustomed to you agreeing with everything, participating in every activity, or accepting the same limitations, your development may feel to them like a rejection of the old arrangement. But changing your life does not automatically mean believing you are superior to anyone else. There is a difference between recognizing your own potential and looking down on other people. You can decide that you want more discipline without calling someone else lazy. You can choose different friendships without believing that the people you leave behind are worthless. You can pursue greater financial success without assuming that money makes you a better human being. This distinction is essential because confidence without humility can quickly become arrogance. If someone accuses you of thinking you are better, the strongest response is usually not an angry defense. You can simply explain that you are focused on becoming better than your previous self. That statement shifts the comparison away from other people and back toward personal development. Your real competition is often the version of yourself that wasted opportunities, avoided responsibility, or accepted limitations. When you focus on that comparison, another person's progress does not threaten you. You can admire their strengths while continuing to develop your own. Jealous individuals sometimes struggle with this because they interpret another person's boundaries as rejection. Suppose you stop joining every late night gathering because you have goals that require your attention. Someone may say that you have become arrogant, but perhaps you have simply changed your priorities. Suppose you stop participating in gossip because you no longer want to spend your energy discussing other people's lives. Someone may accuse you of acting superior. Again, you may simply have developed a different standard for how you want to spend your time. Not every change requires an apology. You are allowed to outgrow habits, environments, and expectations. At the same time, you should examine yourself honestly. Sometimes accusations of arrogance contain useful feedback. If several trustworthy people tell you that you have become dismissive, constantly talk about your achievements, or treat others with disrespect, do not automatically label them jealous. Listen. Confidence should make you more grounded, not less considerate. Real growth increases your ability to respect people who are different from you. If your development requires humiliating others, it is not development, it is ego. You should be able to succeed without making other people feel small. You should be able to say no without insulting someone. You should be able to pursue a different lifestyle without constantly announcing that your lifestyle is superior. This is the balance between self-respect and humility. When someone asks whether you think you are better than them, you do not need to enter a competition. You can acknowledge that everyone has different strengths, circumstances, and goals. Your responsibility is to become the best version of yourself, not to rank everyone around you. If your progress causes someone to feel threatened, you cannot always control that reaction. But you can control whether you respond with arrogance or maturity. Keep your focus on your own standards. Let your work improve your life rather than become a weapon against other people. Do not shrink because someone is uncomfortable with your ambition, but do not inflate yourself because you finally received recognition. Walk forward with confidence while remembering that every person has areas where they are strong and areas where they need growth. The moment you stop needing to prove that you are better than anyone else, you become much harder to provoke. Your success no longer depends on someone else's defeat. You are simply building a life that reflects your values, and that is a form of confidence that does not require comparison. Jealousy is real, but recognizing it does not mean you should become suspicious of everyone around you. One of the greatest mistakes you can make is turning awareness into paranoia. You begin analyzing every question, every facial expression, every delayed response, and every disagreement as evidence that someone secretly wants you to fail. This mindset can become just as destructive as the jealousy you are trying to recognize. The goal is not to assume that people are against you. The goal is to observe patterns carefully and respond according to evidence rather than emotion. One uncomfortable question does not define a person's character. Someone may ask about your income because they are genuinely curious. Someone may question your success because they want to understand how you achieved it. Someone may ask why people support you because they are trying to understand your work. Context matters. The difference becomes clearer when you observe what happens repeatedly. Does the person celebrate your achievements or consistently minimize them? Do they offer useful criticism or only criticism designed to make you feel smaller? Do they respect your boundaries or become angry whenever you say no? Do they ask questions because they want to learn, or do they collect information and later use it against you? Patterns are more reliable than isolated moments. You should also examine your own behavior before deciding that someone is jealous. Are you constantly displaying your achievements? Are you turning every conversation into a competition? Are you expecting everyone to celebrate you? Sometimes what appears to be jealousy may actually be a response to arrogance or insensitive behavior. Self-awareness protects you from creating enemies where none exist. The mature approach is to remain humble while still protecting yourself. You do not need to hide your accomplishments, but you also do not need to constantly broadcast them. You can enjoy success without making it the center of every conversation. You can accept compliments without demanding admiration. You can pursue ambitious goals without treating people with less status as inferior. This balance makes it easier to identify genuine envy because you are not creating unnecessary friction yourself. Another important skill is learning what information to share. Not every person needs to know your plans, finances, relationships, weaknesses, or future goals. Privacy is not dishonesty. It is a way of controlling access to personal information. Share deeply with people who have demonstrated trust, loyalty, and respect. With everyone else, you can remain friendly without becoming completely transparent. This is especially useful when you're working towards something that is still developing. Protect fragile goals until they have enough structure to withstand criticism. If someone consistently responds to your progress with discouragement, you can reduce the amount of information you give them without creating a dramatic confrontation. Distance can be quiet. You do not need to announce that someone is jealous. You simply adjust the level of access they have to your life. Most importantly, never allow jealousy to become your obsession. If you spend all your energy wondering who secretly envies you, you have allowed other people's emotions to control your attention. Your focus should remain on your own development. Build your skills, improve your character, strengthen your relationships with people who genuinely support you, learn to recognize criticism that can help you, and ignore criticism that exists only to diminish you. You cannot control what another person feels when they see you succeed. Some will be inspired, some will feel insecure, Some will genuinely celebrate you. Others may struggle with comparison. Their emotional response belongs to them. Your responsibility is to remain grounded in your own values. If someone proves through repeated behavior that they cannot support your growth or respect your boundaries, create appropriate distance. If they make one uncomfortable comment, do not immediately declare them an enemy. Give people room to be imperfect. Observe before judging. Respond instead of reacting. The strongest protection against jealousy is not constant suspicion, it is internal security. When you know who you are and why you are building what you are building, you do not need everyone to approve. You can accept praise without becoming addicted to it, and criticism without being destroyed by it. You can recognize envy without becoming consumed by it. You keep your private life protected, your standards clear, and your attention directed toward meaningful goals. In the end, the most powerful way to deal with jealous people is not to defeat them or expose them. It is to refuse to let their insecurity determine the direction of your life.